Hello everyone, dearest friends and foes and whoever else there is alike, and welcome to the Sapling. Now, the Sapling is an evolution simulator, like Spore, except unlike Spore, it's realistic. Like Species, I guess. Well, I guess Species is sort of realistic if you squint hard enough, but the Sapling, it's realistic in the regards that simulates actual evolution rather than just you give your creature a better part and it gets more powerful. But now, here's what we're doing. So, we have the scenarios in Sapling, and these are meant to teach you how to play the game, or at the very least a few of them are, but eventually they get more difficult as time goes on. So, what we're going to try to do is to create the scenarios with as many horrific abominations as we can. Now, horrific abominations do exist in real life, but being a horrific abomination by itself isn't necessarily a successful evolutionary strategy. So, let's see how far we get. First is the beach. We need to make one species that survives a century before the year 1000. And here we have algae. Yeah, the first scenario is really just algae, and I'm not sure what an abomination algae would look like, so I'll just do this, I guess. Ready. So yeah, like, here we go. Color, ocean depth. Okay, yeah, and it will basically tell you where the algae will and other such will survive. So for I'm not sure where they make it, but I'll just put these guys all over the place. And if they survive 1,000 years, we're good. Yeah, make it sure at least 100 years, we're good. So we make sure that at least one species survives living for a century. Yeah, like the tutorial scenario, it's a tutorial. Congratulations, we win. We have unlocked smaller and larger algae. Now, new species. Make one species that can survive in shallow water live a century. So now, we're going to make algae and... Okay, yeah, we can make it shorter. So, this guys have no water depth. And I think I'll make it like this, because this is the closest thing to like an algae guy, like to an abominable algae of this type that I can think of. So just put them all over the place, and yeah. You know, a century is not that long in terms of evolutionary periods. It's basically a blink of the eye. But well, it'll do for tutorial. Okay, there. Now we can just need to make a plant that survives 100 years. Alright, here's the plants that we're making from scratch. So, we pretty much can't really make abominations yet. Like, what else am I supposed to do? Just, put these things in weird places? It's not really gonna be an abomination, just a weird plant. But yeah, the thing is, this game does have an evolutionary part tier, but you need to actually have a species that has the former part to get the part that evolves into. So now, we just need to keep these plants alive for a century. Yeah, also, if you want to play this game long term, you're gonna need a really good computer, because as the animals evolve and mutate, especially in like the free modes, you basically end up taking a lot more stuff up, and like a lot more screen up, and to get some serious lag. Okay, sculpting editors. Make one taller species that survives a century. Here we go. We can now make large plants. This is alright. So we drag this over this dot and scroll to make it larger. Oh yes, finally, it's abomination time. So I'm gonna make these really small, short, and this really tall. And yes, Alright, let's see if we can somehow get it to survive. So I'll put one here, and one of these here. And I'll put in a bunch of plants, because, like, this thing takes up a lot of energy. But hopefully it'll be able to, like, survive, and, yeah, this is the closest thing to plant abomination I can make right now, so hopefully it'll survive for 100 years. I just put a bunch of them. I wonder, will it drive the... Oh, wow! They are reproducing fast. Though I am on fast mode, so, yeah. Well, I can't see them, but I think... Are those them? So... Well, apparently some are alive, even though I can't see them anymore. Alright, now, one species with branches. Let's try... They went extinct and the game didn't even realize it. Yeah, this is a bit of an early access game and it kinda shows. So anyway, you know what, yeah, did not collect enough energy to reproduce. Okay, I'll make something more simple so we can move on with this, but we have branches. Okay, I'll make one of these, and then I'll coat them in these leaves. Maybe I should have mutated the last plant, like the surviving plant, because I forget. Yeah, because if I did it, I could get more advanced leaves, I could collect more energy, potentially. But, he didn't, so, well, you know what, I'll put in one down here, so, well, phallic reasons. Yeah, hopefully this thing collects enough energy to reproduce, so, you know, I'll just... Or if not that, hopefully it'll well, or if it doesn't collect enough energy to reproduce, hopefully it'll have... Well, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, right, hopefully it'll glitch out, the game will glitch out again, and... Hold on a second. Mutate. Oh, wow, there actually are some left. Neat. There. Completed the first main scenario. Now, next scenario. Alright, make one species that lives a century at the highest peak before the year 1000. Okay, in this case we have roots. And what we need is something that can... Okay, first off, we have roots, and we need the standard plant stuff. I'm just gonna get through this one, because, like, we're basically making something for, like, altitude. And this thing won't survive at the high peak because there isn't enough roots or temperature. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to make it in some places where it will survive. Just put a bunch of it there. And then what we need to do is we need to... Oh, recently introduced. Hold on. First was born. What the heck is this? Oh, it wants me to click on this. Oh, right. This will show you what we can... Well, it'll show us the things. Okay, good. That isn't recently introduced anymore, so we'll mutate it. And what we need is more cold resistance. And let's see. Okay. So, with this case, we need a thing that has more dry... If I remember right, more dry groundwater. And we'll need more wind-resistant feathers, so or temperature resistance. Not feathers, leaves. And you know, I think I'll also give them some of these leaves. No, wait, oh yeah, this gets more distance with strong winds, so species new. I think this... Okay, wait, why can't I survive there? Oh. Not enough moisture, and it still can't take the temperature, which is... Hold on, redesign. Okay, I'll remove this and put in another of these. So, let's see, how can we make it more temperature resistant? These are fairly, but not enough. The temperature is in the negative, so negative 30. Alright, hold on, ready. Does this make it better? No, still, yeah. Oh yeah, negative 30 should be enough, so... Alright, you figure out what you need to do. Okay, so... Yeah, we need to get this thing, and because of that, this is like... I think this was only... Yeah, this was. This is the path we need to go down, but for now, we should keep the roots the same. Because, like... Yeah, it just doesn't have enough moisture yet, but if we can put some of it down here... Then first Valoron, just go a few decades for them to reproduce, and, okay, mutate. These guys again... And now, we get that, yeah, so see, there still is, so actually one of the things that I like about species, that I like more than, that I like about the sapling more than species, is that with species, how to put it, oh yeah, oh, what if I make it, maybe if I made it smaller, it would survive better up there somehow? I don't know. But one of the things that I like about the sapling is that it still has much of the character creation aspect from Spore, except it's attuned to adapting to different environments. And they do include things like groundwater and such with plants, when the sapling does not have plant evolution. Alright, so let's hope these guys can survive for a century up there. There, it looks like they were about to all die right after the century, but they survived 100 years, and that's good enough for this scenario. Make one species with land legs and lays eggs before 1500. Okay, they want us to do this, and this. Okay, so step 1 of making a species that lives on land and lays eggs, or at least has land and lays eggs, while making it an abomination. Putting in a shit ton of algae so it can have plenty to eat, I guess. Alright, first task. Make one algae species that survives a century. Make sure that one plant species survives a century. Okay, so, you know what, I'll go ahead and make a plant right away. I think I'll try to make as much of an abomination as I can with the basic plant parts. So, oh, traits. Okay, bar. Oh. Alright. Places where small animals can sit. Okay. Yeah, this is a bit new, so okay, we'll give it... Okay, so, first off, let's make it really tall. Trying to make an abomination. We'll also make this really big and the rest small. And now, my solution for its energy needs... Alright, just 2 of these for reproduction, and the rest, you know what, I'll put on a absolute crap load of these leaves. Hopefully to get enough to get an energy profit. Alright, hopefully this thing, which isn't as much of an abomination as I would like, but it'll have to do, will survive 100 years, and yeah, such. Alright, so one algae that's active for 100 years. Yeah, like, now, with certain things, it's much easier to make them succeed than others. So for algae, it's pretty boring, but the plant species... Okay, now, we need an animal that can see. Here's where we can start making the abominations. So, That's the way it faces. Alright, it can see. So, we're gonna make it look out of its ass. There! We're gonna make it look out of its ass, I guess. Good enough. Anyway, it needs a mouth so it can eat, and oh, these have names now. Neat. Also, it can eat, and it needs some fins so it can swim. And you know what? I'll... a non-abomination, but about as good as I'm gonna get it. With like, so little parts unlocked. Right, hopefully these things won't like, kill off all the algae and die. So, let's see if these things make it 100 years. Okay, yeah, like, graphics are not 100% working out here, but at least they're somewhat are, I guess. Yes. Okay, one species that is active on land and can lay eggs. Okay, 7 left. Alright, let's see what abominations we can make with this new species. Okay, traits, they want us to have that, and size, I don't care about that. Egg type, free-floating, land-water hybrid. And for this one, it needs legs, so this will be speed. This is what we need next. And I think I might give it a more efficient herbivorous mouth. Let's see. Okay. So, you know, yes, it will eat out of its ass. Which, I think there actually is an animal that does that. Is it a sea cucumber? Is it the sea cucumber that only has one hole in its body and it does everything out of it? I think I may have messed up. Okay, eggs, land, and water. Moves water, unfortunately. That says speed on land. Oh, the mouth. This must be a purely water-breathing mouth. No. Okay. Yeah, this seems to... see if this works. This is an abomination, it'll do. And just in case, I'll make another abomination. Alright, you know what? Yeah, I'll mutate these guys. It looks like they're not doing well. I'll give them... let's see, a different jaw, I think. No. Oh, primitive air breather. Perfect. And for their legs, I need something that can actually walk. Speed on. I'll give them... you know what? I'll give them one pair of legs and hope that's enough. Alright. Okay, I'll reintroduce more of these guys. Hope it works. Come on, last 100 years. Alright, so, it looks like it looks like they ate all the algae, but it's fine, because the counter stopped. So what this means is that we don't technically have... discard. Is that we don't technically have to make another species. We can just reintroduce them, and the counter will continue just fine. Hang on a second. If the counter would continue just fine this way, what the fuck is the point of this challenge? Thank you for watching, everyone, and remember to like, comment, and subscribe.